Hey everybody, and thank you for tuning into the Slant. My name is Tommy and I'm your host. This is week 15 recap of the NFL, and we're getting down to the nitty-gritty, the final weeks of the NFL. 2 games left after this week for every team to get into the AFC playoff picture and the NFC playoff picture. We're going to start with Thursday Night Football on December 14th, 2023, Chargers versus the Raiders. And this game was absolutely atrocious. The Raiders beat the Chargers 63-21, which is ironic because the Raiders were held to 0 points in week 14, and then they dropped 16. And we're going to take a look at the box score for the Raiders. Aiden O'Connell was 20 of 34 for 248 yards and 4 touchdowns. And Jacoby Myers was 2 of 2 through the air with 1 touchdown. So that's kind of how this game went. There's not much to say other than the Chargers fired head coach Brandon Staley. It was about time. The Chargers have Justin Herbert, arguably, I think, one of the better talented younger quarterbacks, and they still can't get the job done. It was time for Brandon Staley to go. Not much to say about this game. The Raiders aren't even really like a competitive team, in my opinion. Sorry, Vegas fans, but they're just a joke. So you lose by 63 points to the Raiders. The Chargers just gave up. They look defeated. Like, the Chargers, they look like they don't want to be playing football anymore. I think a lot of people can argue that the Chargers just don't look like they want to be there. Hopefully the coaching change, they'll finish off the season stronger than they have been. They will be playing the Bills on December 23rd, which is Saturday night at 5 p.m. Then they'll go on to play the Broncos on December 31st and the Chiefs on January 7th. But moving on, because like I said, the Raiders game, that was atrocious. We're moving to December 16th, 2023, which was Saturday, the first NFL Saturday of the year with college football not being on Saturdays anymore, except for a few like playoff games and bowl games and whatnot that will be coming up at the end of this month / in January. So we got Vikings 24, Bengals 27. Nick Mullins started for the Vikings and Jake Browning started from the Bengals. Jake Browning being the local guy from Folsom, California. We're going to check the box score. So the Vikings, Nick Mullins was 26 of 33 for 303 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. Nick Mullins is one of those guys where he is a former 49er, and I had to put up with watching him. A lot of people like him because he's a high-energy guy. It's great and everything, but like when it's a high-energy guy and you're a backup and you just, I don't know. He's a gunslinger. Excuse me. He's a gunslinger. Oh my gosh. I can't speak today. He likes to sling the ball downfield. We'll just say that. So, anyways, Nick Mullins, good backup. I don't ever think he's talented, but like, I don't think a team's going to invest in him as a starter. Competitive spirit, I like it. Seems like a really good guy, but I don't know. There's just something about him. Like, I get he tries to bring the rah-rah to it, and it just doesn't do it for me at all. So anyways, yeah, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. And on the other side of the ball for the Bengals, Jake Browning was 29 of 42, 324 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. Jake Browning has been tearing it up. At the end of the game, Jake Browning looked at the camera and said, "You should have never cut me." I think he had some other choice words in that statement, but he was referring to the Vikings. Happy for Jake Browning. Like, the Bengals are looking really good for their playoff hopes. Yeah, close game, 27-24. Not really looking good for the Vikings per se. They have to play division rival the Lions. Then they got to play division rival the Packers. And then they got to finish up with the Lions again in Week 18. So excuse my statement earlier where I said most teams have 2 games left. I believe the 49ers only have 2 games left. But there are a lot of teams that still have 3 weeks left. And I think it has to do with like the bye and when they played it or not. But yeah. So moving on, Colts, Steelers, December 16th, 2023, Saturday. The Colts defeated the Steelers 30-13. And I'm going to be honest, the Colts, I don't know where to start. Gardner Minshew, 18 of 28, 215 yards, 3 touchdowns. The Colts just won't. Oh, and I forgot, Trey Sermon, former running back for the 49ers, 17 rush attempts, 88 yards. Good for him. Happy for him. The Colts are looking good, and they actually have playoff hopes. And I'm going to be honest, as I search this, I think Coach of the Year maybe should go to Shane Steichen. I know it's his first year. Shane Steichen was hired as head coach of the Colts on February 14th of 2023 this year. He has 13 years of coaching experience with 12 seasons in the NFL. But, I mean, good for him. I don't think anybody really expected the Colts to do anything this year. And they're hanging in there. Right now, they play the Falcons, Raiders, and Texans for their last 3 games. All very winnable games. And in the standings, they are second in the AFC South, tied for same record as the Jaguars, but I believe they've lost a game to the Jaguars. And the Jaguars are on a 3-game losing streak. So the Colts, the Colts actually have a chance to maybe make it through the first round of the playoffs and then lose in the second round. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens with the Colts. As for the Steelers, yeah, they don't seem like the Steelers of the old days. Every time you played the Steelers, it was like a tough, battle-hardened team. You know it was going to be a defensive fight. The Steelers were going to lay it on you. They were going to hit hard. They got Troy Polamalu. They had they came to play every single game. And they had a hard hitter like Ryan Clark too. But yeah, I don't see it. I think Mike Tomlin might actually be fired. Steelers have only had 3 coaches, it seems like, in the past 30 years. Yeah, it's really not looking good for Mike Tomlin. I think Steelers fans are done with him. But yeah, good for the Colts. You would not expect this of them. They had Anthony Richardson, their young stud quarterback, go down, who they drafted last year in the first round. But it's looking up for the Colts because they're winning games without their starting quarterback. So good for them. Happy for the Colts. As for the Steelers, seasons, they're going to need to clean house, I think, this offseason because they're not playing Steeler football anymore. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of decisions they make on that in that aspect. All right, and finishing up the Saturday games on December 16th, 2023 of Week 15, we have Broncos 17, Lions 42. Lions get their win. Looking at the box score, Russell Wilson was 18 of 32 for 223 yards and 1 touchdown, and Jared Goff was 24 of 34 for 278 yards and 5 touchdowns. Jared Goff, I'm happy for him. He's a good dude. He was always a good quarterback. The Rams ran him out of town for no good reason. I know they only put up 3 points in that Super Bowl. But Jared Goff is a good QB, and you can't really argue that anymore, especially after this year and seeing them play. Broncos, everybody wants to blame Russell Wilson. I'm not going to do that. Russell Wilson also had a rushing touchdown, by the way, this game. But I'm going to blame Sean Payton because he's so quick to put the blame on anybody else. And you know what? I don't really like Sean Payton as a coach. I know nobody probably cares about that opinion or take, but I think he's all about himself, full of himself, selfish. And this is a message for Sean Payton. You're not going to win football games when you're all about yourself or whatever. I tried to get on board and like him. He had the targeting against like the 49ers in the 2011 playoffs where they were like talk about tweaking Frank Gore's neck and stuff and paying players to do that and taking Alex Smith out of the game, like Bounty Gate or whatever they called it. Yeah, Sean Payton's like a dirty coach in my opinion. I hope he never wins another Super Bowl or playoff game again in his career, especially when he blames his players for losses. Like, what kind of coach does that? Take extreme ownership, dude. Like, take accountability for your actions. Look at yourself in the mirror first. Like, be a better coach. Be a better coach. You know, he runs away from problems. Like, the Saints obviously weren't going to be good. They were losing Drew Brees, and he ran away from that town. Like, I need a break, and then I'm going to come back and go to a better situation. Like, that's called cowards do that. Cowards leave situations that get tough and take the easy road. He's a coward. That plain and simple. That's all I'm going to say about that game. So Lions 42, Broncos 17. I can't believe I'm saying this as a Niner fan. I feel bad for Russell Wilson. You know, then again, it is what it is. All right, moving on to December 17th, 2023 of Week 15 of the NFL. This is Sunday football. Buccaneers 34. Green Bay Packers 20. Baker Mayfield woke up feeling dangerous is what he said. He was 22 of 28, 381 yards, 4 touchdowns. Can't believe the Browns ever got rid of him. They probably feel stupid now. The Browns, he was the first quarterback for the Browns that wouldn't get injured, that was secure, that kept the ball safe. He took the Browns back to the playoffs after like a 20-year drought. Browns fans, shame on you guys. As for Jordan Love, he was 29 of 39 for the Packers with 284 yards and 2 touchdowns. Jordan Love is the future of the Green Bay Packers, so Packers fans, do not worry. You have your quarterback. You need a better defense, though. That, like, the Buccaneers receivers were open all day long. I mean, it was actually ridiculous how open they were. Let's look at the stats for receiving. Let's see. Chris Godwin, 10 receptions, 155 yards with a long reception of 25. Mike Evans, 4 receptions for 57 yards and a touchdown with a long of 19. Rashad White, 2 receptions for 50 yards for a long of 26 and a touchdown. Kokeft, 1 reception for a touchdown. I mean, you guys just left David Moore 1 touchdown. Like, you guys left them open all day long. Packers fans, you have nobody to be mad at except your defense and your coach, Matt LaFleur. Like, he keeps blaming his coordinators. Another coach that needs to look at himself in the mirror and make a decision. Texans 19, Titans 16. My other pick for Coach of the Year is definitely going to, who is it? DeMeco Ryans, near and dear to my heart, former 49ers defensive coordinator. He takes a young quarterback in CJ Stroud and makes him competent and competitive for the Texans, who are now, I believe, I want to say 8-6. Let me double check that. Yeah, the Texans are 8-6. They're third in the AFC South. So there's like a 3-way run for who's going to win the AFC South. We'll see. It'll come down to the last 3 weeks, obviously. Anyways, Texans, Titans. Texans 19, Titans 16. Looking at the box score, Case Keenum was 23 of 36 for 229 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. And then Will Levis was 17 of 26 for 199 yards and 1 interception. So kind of a boring game in my opinion, but it is what it is. Texans will finish off with the Browns, Titans, and Colts. So if they beat the Titans and Colts, they're going to win their division. Good for them. But we'll see. Texans fans, you should be excited. Your future is ahead of you. Moving on. Chiefs, Patriots. The Chiefs have problems for sure. I don't know. I don't think they make a deep playoff run because they don't have receivers. Kadarius Toney, right now, pretty much every Chiefs fan wants to ship Kadarius Toney off to like the underworld so that he never returns, because he is causing picks to happen for Patrick Mahomes. Balls hitting his hand and bouncing in defenders' hands. Yeah. So looking at box score, Patrick Mahomes 27 of 37, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, with Jerick McKinnon on passing being 1 for 1 with 1 touchdown. Yeah, Kadarius Toney, 2 receptions, 5 yards. Yeah, the Chiefs need this offseason deeply to get draft receivers, trade for receivers. They need receivers. They don't have it anymore. Patrick Mahomes somehow works his magic and wins games without a receiving core. As for the Patriots, Bailey Zappi, 23 of 31, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Patriots need to clean house. Bill Belichick's gone. I don't see him staying. I'll speculate. He'll go to a team like where they have a young quarterback like the Bears or the Commanders or maybe even the Panthers at this point, but not good. Giants and Saints. Saints 24, Giants 6. Looking at the box score, Tommy DeVito, 20 of 34 for 177 yards. The DeVito magic wars worn off for this game. Nothing exciting for Tommy DeVito. Derek Carr was 23 of 28, 218 yards, 3 touchdowns. Played like MVP Derek Carr before he had his injury back in one of his first years. I remember that, but not much to say on that game. Panthers, Falcons, garbage game, 7-9. Falcons lost to the Panthers, 7-9. Box score, you got Desmond Ridder, 12 of 20, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Bryce Young, 18 of 24, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. So I'm not going to spend much time on that. Sorry, Falcons and Panthers fans. Rams, Commanders, Ron Rivera should be fired. They need to get rid of him. I'm tired of seeing him coaching. He's terrible. Nobody should ever hire him again. I don't know how he keeps getting jobs. Like, I don't know if he talks himself into like, hey, I'll help your team tank and then you can get a higher pick. But anyways, Jacoby Brissett was 8 of 10 for 124 yards and 2 touchdowns. Sam Howell 11 of 26 for 100. Jacoby Brissett was 8 of 10 for 124 yards and 2 touchdowns. Sam Howell was 11 of 26 for 102 yards, 1 touchdown and 1 interception. And as for the Rams, Matthew Stafford, 25 of 33, 258 yards and 2 touchdowns. Cowboys, Bills. Bills stomped the Cowboys 31-10, which was bad for the Cowboys because if the Eagles had won their game tonight on Monday Night Football, Cowboys would have dropped back to a wild card team. That wasn't the case. We'll talk about that in a second. Dak Prescott was 21 of 34 for 134 yards and 1 interception, no touchdowns. Terrible. And but don't get me wrong, I do like Dak Prescott. Good dude. Josh Allen, 7 of 15, 94 yards, 1 touchdown. But the story of this game was James Cook. 25 rushing attempts, 179 yards, average of 7.16 yards per carry. 24 yards was his longest run, and 1 touchdown. He went off. Latavius Murray had a touchdown. Josh Allen had a rushing touchdown also. And the Bills have helped themselves for their playoff picture. The Cowboys only really hurt themselves. But I'll move to Ravens, Jaguars, Sunday Night Football. Ravens beat the Jaguars 23-7. Jaguars, 3-game losing streak. It's not looking good for them. Lamar Jackson, 14 of 24, 171 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Trevor Lawrence, 25 of 43, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions. Ravens are rolling. Jaguars are stalling. So, but last but not least, for our games today, by the way, the Ravens have a gauntlet. They'll finish with the Niners, Dolphins, and then the Steelers, a hard division rival for them. 2 more games left, but last for Sunday, 49ers 45, Cardinals 29. The 49ers took it to the Cardinals. I believe in this Niners team more than ever. The best Niners teams that existed in the history are the 2011 49ers that I've been able to witness. They lost in the NFC Championship game to the New York Giants, who went on to beat the Patriots that year in the Super Bowl. And I was present at that game. Kyle Williams fumbled 2 punt returns. Everybody wanted to blame Alex Smith, the Niners QB at the time, for the loss. I didn't, because when you fumble 2 punt returns, how is your quarterback supposed to drive the ball down the field and score? Anyways, sorry to bring that up for Kyle Williams. I get it. I'm not mad. Like, he got a lot of hate mail and stuff and, like, death threats. Like, it was terrible. I felt bad for him. But, like, that was not Alex Smith's fault. So 2011, we lose in the NFC Championship game. 2012, we go to the Super Bowl and we lose to the Ravens when the lights go out. 2013, we go to the NFC Championship game and lose to the Seahawks when Richard Sherman says that Michael Crabtree's mediocre and he locked him up for 4 plays straight at the end of that game. That sucked. So there's 3 Super Bowl opportunities for the Niners in 3 years that they blew. 2014, we were terrible with like Chip Kelly as our coach. Flash forward to 2019, the Niners have a great season with Jimmy G. We lose to the Chiefs after being up 20-10 in that Super Bowl. So there's 4 Super Bowls gone now. Then flash forward to 2021. I believe it was the Rams and Niners in the NFC Championship game. And I forget what DB it was. He's no longer on the team. He dropped an interception to win the game and send us to the Super Bowl. There's 5 Super Bowls we lost. So we could be a 10-time Super Bowl championship because we have 5, but somehow in the past 10 years, we've failed at 5 attempts. I'm losing my mind as a Niners fan. If we don't win the Super Bowl this year, we never will. We're stacked. We got Brandon Ayuk, obviously, Deebo Samuel, Christian McCaffrey, Brock Purdy, who I'm now a real believer in. He is the real deal. And we got Bosa, Warner, Chase Young, Eric Armstead. We are loaded. Trent Williams, like, best team on paper. We're blowing teams out. We're averaging like 30 to 40 points a game now. It's insane. Let's look at the box score. Brock Purdy, 16 of 25, 242 yards, 4 touchdowns. Amazing. Kyler Murray, 26 of 39, 211 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. The Niners are rolling. Christian McCaffrey had a nice little hat trick again. 1 rushing touchdown, 18 attempts, 115 yards on those 18 attempts. And then 2 receiving touchdowns on 5 receptions, 72 yards. And Deebo Samuel, 2 touchdowns again on 4 receptions, 48 yards. The Niners are clicking on everything. Everything is going right for the Niners. Let's keep the ball rolling. Like, we look great. I'm so excited. All right, enough talk of the Niners. I was watching this game tonight with one of my buddies at the bar. Great game. Seahawks 20, Eagles 17, and nothing makes me happier than the Eagles losing because Philly fans, you're just unbearable at times. Let's look at the box score. Jalen Hurts, 17 of 31, 0 touchdowns for 143 yards and 2 interceptions. Now, Jalen Hurts is the only Eagle that I like. The rest I'm not a fan of. Jalen Hurts, though, did have 2 rushing touchdowns on 13 attempts and 82 yards. So he was competitive. Seahawks, Drew Lock, my man, 22 of 33, 208 yards, 1 touchdown. Good for him. He was clutch at the end. He threw like a 30-yard touchdown pass. I want to say it was to, Jackson Smith. It was about 29 or 30 yards. And he made an insane catch with 30 seconds left to basically seal the game and win it. That was amazing. I told my friend the whole time, I see the Seahawks beating the Eagles potentially. This was before the game even started because the Eagles are now on a 3-game losing streak. They lost to, let's see. It just gets better and better. The Eagles beat the Bills in Week 12, 37-34, then lost to the Niners 42-19. So got whomped by the Niners, got whomped by the Cowboys 33-13, and then lose to the Seahawks 20-17, which the Seahawks are now 7-7 competing for the playoffs, and the Rams are 7-7. So it'll be interesting. The Eagles are going to finish against division rival Giants, then Cardinals, and then Giants. Eagles, man, it's not looking good for them. And thank you to the Eagles and Cowboys both losing this week, because now the 49ers, if we look at this, let me go back. The 49ers have... Oh, I was wrong. The 49ers do have 3 games left. I just didn't see that. The 49ers play the Ravens next week, Christmas night, December 25th, 5:15 p.m. And I'm fired up. And I can tell you right now, Niners can lose that game, beat the Commanders, and beat the Rams, still get the 1 seed. Even if this, because we'll be a game up on both the Eagles and Cowboys and still have the tiebreaker. But if the Niners beat the Ravens and there's no pressure, they can drop 1 against the Commanders or Rams. They won't drop against the Commanders, in my opinion, but they'll drop against the Rams. So it's looking good as a Niner fan. Anyways, that's all I have for you this week. I hope you enjoyed the show. Yeah, it was a lot of information. It was a great week of football. I'm so excited. This is the Niners' year, I think. It's going to hurt if they don't win, because I'm sure I'm going to get comments on this when I go back in history and wish I'd never made this video. But go 49ers. Bang, bang. Thank you for watching The Slant. If you like this episode, please like, subscribe, comment, share with a family member, a friend. Yeah, and I enjoy the show. Would love to have people on at any time to talk football or baseball. Shohei Ohtani getting that $700 million contract. Good for him. But yeah. Anyways, thanks for tuning in and enjoy your night. Tommy's out.